here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite competitor's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Generation Toy IDW inspired Optimus, also known as Op-X. As you can see, he holds his gun just fine. We'll take a look at that accessory along with a couple other things, and we'll get him going. Accessory-wise, you have the trailer hitch, which we'll talk about in a bit. I can't find a way to use it as like a shield or anything prior to, but it does have some nice silver and gold paint on it. Then you have the gun, which folds up like this for truck mode, but then you can also kind of, it's a scary kind of double hinge there, but yeah, of course it can be a signature kind of weapon as we saw in the opening footage. And some nice silver paint, gunmetal gray, silver paint. Looks good. Good effort. So let's talk about the figure, which you know is what I truly enjoy. So the head is on a hinge swivel, and then the neck flaps kind of swivel too, so you can get a little bit there. But I actually wish that this kind of solidified a bit better than what I can kind of get it to do. That being said, the head swivels on a hinge, and as a result, you get a really good down. Like I feel like that is a point of articulation that is often overlooked by companies, both official and unofficial, and I think it's very important. Like, it just makes him look so intimidating. Silver paint accents on the face, on the head, and I think the eyes light up. Yeah, so there's a switch here, which I'm guessing makes the eyes light up. Maybe let's try. I haven't messed with this, or maybe that's. Yeah, I guess it. Let's see. Yep. Surely does. But the only problem is unlike the Fanstoys Omega Supreme, I'll tell you that switch is a little ornery also. Unlike the Fanstoys Omega Supreme, when it's off, it does look dead. Like, it looks lifeless. So that's a bummer. Yeah, you know, I just wish they'd find a way around that, because like, you're not going to have it lit up most of the time on your shelf, you know. All right. Shoulders, pretty interesting stuff here. So you have this flap which can hinge up, and then that allows for this piece to kind of come up, and then you can kind of use that to keep the sculpt, like to keep the sculpt break up. So it's basically you're using a universal joint of sorts, but these pieces move out of the way, and then you can cover these pieces down to kind of get everything that you need. Now, if you tuck that down, you can also have it like this. So there's like just numerous options. You know, I don't know. I think that that's a really interesting approach to the shoulder, and I think it looks good. And then it swivels around. The joint is a little loose, and there's also a slight butterfly joint here, but the tolerance is a little loose. I don't know. It's not floppy, but it is loose. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, it looks like. Yes, but gets you way past 90 degrees. Little gold accents, silver accents, mostly red plastic, some silver accents here. Wrist swivel, fingers are on a base pin knuckle, and the index finger has an additional hinge for the trigger. Thumb is on a ball peg. Chest. We have the translucent plastic here. You know, it's slightly tinted. I wish it was a bit heavier. And then we have some silver accents throughout. The waist swivel is a little loose as well, just to there and there. You can move it, you know, with a little bit more friction throughout. But, you know, there are a number of joints here that just aren't super tight. Now, I've heard if you take a screwdriver, some of these joints start tight. What is wrong with me? If you take a screwdriver to some of these screws, that you can tighten them up, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. I just think it's, you know, I'm just judging it how it comes out of the box. Same for the other side, articulation-wise. The arm shields, you can fold them up, you can straighten them out, and then they do swivel around a bit as well. Your call. All right, let's look at the legs. So, I don't know if any of these hip skirts do move or not. Let's see. Yeah. So the hip skirts move out of the way, showing a universal joint. You do have a thigh swivel built around the universal. Not the greatest range, but I think it's more than enough. And, see, this should have been ratcheted. It's fine. I mean, the truth is once you have them posed, it puts tension on it to keep it, and it's holding it fairly well out to the side. Oh, you can get the whole Van Damme there. Let's keep looking at it. Yeah, so that's impressive. And then the full Monty. So you bump up, full Monty, full Van Damme. I feel like we haven't had one of those in a while. We do have a silver finish on the pelvis and legs, and then we also have a gunmetal gray kind of added over top, which is cool. Looks good. Thigh swivels like we talked about. We have some gold accents also on this finished silver on the legs. This piece here, I've had a hard time getting to stay in. It actually came in package unpegged. Knee, ratcheted, double jointed, great range. Down here we have silver paint, gold paint, gunmetal paint. We have die cast. And let's see, anything else? Rubber tires, but we'll talk more about that in truck mode. Ankles, we have a tilt up, a tilt down, great rocker, toe hinge, heel hinge, additional toe hinge, no swivel. So fairly well articulated feet, you know, pardon my French, damn near perfect. And then from the back, cleans up pretty well. I'm having a problem with this piece, but cleans up fairly well. So all in all, a pretty well-made unit. Just some tolerance issues in terms of the action figure element. Just some tolerance issues in terms of, you know, joints being too tight or too loose, and mainly it's a matter of being too loose. Size comparison wise, there he is next to Jazz from the same company. And then for good measure, MP10. And I tell you what, while we're on the subject of primes, there he is next to the G Creations effort. And we're going to circle back and double back to this and discuss, you know, which is more effective and et cetera, et cetera. Don't you worry about that. But there they are, just aesthetically next to one another. And then, you know, it's very rare that we got 3 Masterpiece Primes on the same table, right? So let's just enjoy the moment for a minute. Pretty cool. So let's get him transformed. Open this up, fold this down, rotate the arm up, spin. Oh, you got to spin at the bicep first. And you rock this back. This is another hinge here. The reason why I don't consider it a double jointed elbow is because it really only gets you a backward movement. And then you want to take this piece here, uncurl that, and bring that around. And in my mind, that clipped on a little bit better. Bring the hand, bring this out and then bring the hand in. So same for this side. We're gonna lift up this backpack too. Open this up, fold this down, spin the bicep, fold the arm up, rock it back, close this, open the forearm, open this gray piece, fold the hand in, close the gray piece, close the forearm. Oh no, wait, this forearm's supposed to come around on this side. Okay. Good. Make sure that this is straight. Undo this. Now, this is where it starts to feel a little G Creation-y to me. Undo these, and you want to fold this piece in. I don't remember what happens to that. We'll talk about that later, I guess. And then they come around out here to the sides. And then these pieces here are pegged in. Bring them around. And then fold, I think this. Same on the other side. And this actually will come around and wrap around the front of them. Come on, girl. There we go. Fold out the wheel. So this comes around to the front. On the front, we'll just open up the chest, fold these pieces up into the side, bring this, let's see these pieces here. Where is this tabbed in at? On the side here. And then once you have that open, it should allow the robot mode to kind of rotate back with this piece to kind of become the front of the truck. Let's see, you can also, there's a little red piece there that's hard for me to get to. Let's see if I can't. Can you see what I'm looking for there? This is on loan to me from Joe KW, so I don't want to put too much stress on her. That's and it's not like it's stress really. It's just a matter really of getting access to it. There it is. This comes up, and then that allows you to tuck the head in. Now we kind of need to solidify this thing. So bring out this piece. Make sure that piece is tucked in. Rotate the whole thing around on the waist swivel. And then this needs to be straight. This piece needs to come and peg into that center tab that I couldn't get out. I needed the screwdriver for. And then these two pieces fold around and they interlock as well a bit. These pieces, you do fold these gray bits in, they come around, and then you bring the piece that I have that keeps falling off the tail of this unit around, spread these, they're on double hinges. And you just sort of gotta sandwich them. There. And then on the back, we can't do the arm. We shouldn't do the arms quite yet, but you can prepare this section, so to speak, by bringing down that crotch piece, and then I think these pieces just fold up into the center. You want to take this heel, fold it up, and then take this panel on the back and fold it down so that the brake lights and turn signals and stuff will be facing the back of the vehicle. And then take this and fold it. There is like a bit of a rubber on these toes. That's pretty nice. There's also this on Fanstoys Omega Supreme, which I didn't mention in the review. All right, that folds down on top of there. This swings around. And it's like just held in there with the right tension, but if you listen, it sounds like it clicks in place, which I like for some reason. Listen. Let's see. All right, same on this side. Fold in that heel. Fold this piece all the way around. It is a bit of a tight little tolerance there. Fold in the toe to kind of square that off. That piece comes down. This piece comes around and kind of clicks into place. And then the legs tab together. And then you take these pieces here and rotate them up. This ends up being like the back of the vehicle. And we'll do that here as well. And we'll just give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room so that we can move this arm around. And this will close in here. The door closes down, and you can kind of see how all this is gonna work. And let's see here. Fold like that. And around. Fold the door down. What's going on here? There. And then I guess you want to rotate this like that and plug that in, and all this has got to line up and get plugged in. I'm not going to waste my time or yours showing you that because it's just going to be me having to fiddle with it, but I think you get the point. I mean, I'll do a little bit. That piece has got to go in. You know, until you get it all tabbed together. So I'll get all the tabbed together and I'll show you the last couple steps. I take my folded up gun like we showed earlier. And you want to plug it into the sides of both arms like that. Now, for the spoiler, you just flip this piece up here and then this piece up, you know, collapse those, and you're good to go. And I think it's like that, right? Yeah. And that's it. Oops, I lied. I forgot about these parts. They come around, and you can get them under, and let's say the tabs in there and there. And that definitely makes it more solid. And then there and there. And then you pull these wheels out. And there's a tight little fit, and it wants to make the whole thing unplug. And then you can take your trailer hitch, and this goes on this side. But like, I don't feel like, I mean, it's not going anywhere, and I guess you don't need it to, but I don't feel like it plugs in as nicely as I'd like it to. And then you can plug in your MP10 trailer to it if you'd like. Limited range on the front cab, but other than that, works fine. Size comparison wise, there it is with the Motormaster by the same company, which I hope to be taking a look at here soon. And of course with Tiger Tracks. So it rolls like a champ. Rubber tires, nice silver detailings coming through in the truck mode. It's a pretty fun transformation to get here. It's not as fun getting it back to robot mode, I will tell you, but it this came untabbed here. Like the panel situation can be a bit problematic, but it's nothing that cannot be overcome. It just takes a little bit of patience, and as all of you know, patience isn't necessarily my strongest suit. I just kind of want to show how it's done. I think it's a really good effort. I think that they managed to nail, I will say Generation Toy in general tends to get the fun factor right in terms of transformations. Like they really do some good stuff where it's like just the right level of, you know, challenging and intuitive and remaining fun. So yeah, I think it's a good job and a good effort. We need to have one little quick talk before we can get to final thoughts though. So we need to have this conversation, right? In terms of what is better. And I have to say, so this is also a good time to say whose this is. This isn't mine. This belongs to Joe KW. That's mine. You remember I broke that piece off. As to which one is the better piece to buy, it's this one. No doubt about it. You're going to be able to flip it back and forth. You're going to have a lot more fun with it. And it's made pretty well. Everything works fairly well. For the price, it's definitely the better choice. The one thing I think this guy does better is look. Like, and it's definitely a subjective thing. It's just that when I see this looks more like Milne's work to me. And this looks more like Don's work to me. So it kind of comes down to your preference. If you're buying for the sake of aesthetics, right? It comes down to your preference in terms of the look. Milne is probably my favorite Transformer artist of all time. I'd have to think over that once or twice, but he probably is. And I prefer his look. I prefer his aesthetic. So for me, like, even though I don't think this is a great purchase, I am happy with the overall job that he has to perform on my shelf, which is just to stand there and look pretty, which he does. This guy is definitely the better made, better built, more enjoyable toy. So it's certainly my recommendation that if you're buying for any other reason other than display, and I mean out of the box onto the shelf display, buy him. If you're out of the box onto the shelf, pick which one you like that looks the best, because they both come in robot mode. And I prefer the look of this guy. I just prefer the build of this guy, if that makes sense. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the few negatives. I will say I have a hard time getting him to hold his gun in his left hand. The right hand works a lot better for me. But that's definitely a nitpick. The main issue here are just some of the tolerance of the joints. Now I hear if you tighten them, there's not an issue, but this isn't mine to tighten, so I'm not going to do it. But a lot of the joints are too loose, and then the die-cast flaps on the feet are a little too tight, but it's nothing that will prevent you from enjoying the toy. The shoulder articulation, although it is interesting, it is a little weird and cumbersome to work with as you're trying to pose them. You know, I didn't figure that out until a little later as I was really going for some poses. And it's not like it's impossible. It's definitely doable. It's just, I don't know. It's just a little like, yeah, you know. But For the most part, I don't have many complaints. The materials are good. The sculpt is good. It's a little beefier than I'd prefer for my IDW Optimus, but I understand if you prefer him beefy. I get it. The hardware could be better. We could use a little bit more ratchets in the hips. We could use a little bit more sturdiness joints in the shoulders as well. Cleans up like a champ. The engineering is interesting, fun, entertaining, and intuitive. And I think the alt mode looks on the money. So do I recommend this? Absolutely. If you're a fan of IDW Optimus, if you're a fan of Optimus, if you're a fan of cool Transformers, etc., I think it's a good purchase to make. I think Generation Toys has some of the most interesting engineering in the game right now. And I think this is a quality piece. We got diecast, we got paint, we got ratchets. Not enough maybe, but it's a lot of fun and it's a good figure. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.